This evening, first, the Ghana Police Force faces a scandal as Deputy Police Commissioner Calvin Brutus goes on leave amid allegations of financial impropriety. We'll bring you the latest on the investigation. Plus, 3 suspects are in custody for the murder of a transgender sex worker known as Coil Bottle. We'll delve into the details of this shocking case. In other news, Minister Kamami McCoy addresses the persistent issue of squatting along the Linden Suicide Highway, stressing that it's illegal and unsustainable. Find out what steps the government is taking to resolve this matter. Also, the Ghana National Bureau of Standards cracks down on substandard electrical fittings, seizing and destroying over 11,000 pieces. We'll tell you how this impacts consumer safety. And in international news, President Joe Biden defends his political record in a spirited press conference, despite a notable slip-up. Stay with us for these stories and more coming up on tonight's broadcast. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for July 12, 2024. I'm Baby Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, just days after Deputy Police Commissioner Calvin Brutus was reassigned from administration to head of Special Branch, the Ghana Police Force announced on Thursday afternoon that he has gone on leave to allow a probe into alleged financial improprieties. Mr. Brutus allegedly deposited 16.5 million Ghana dollars into his police credit union account on December 15, 2023, which was returned to him the following day. The funds were described as contributions from before, during, and after a wedding. The Ghana Police Force released a statement saying consequent allegations of financial impropriety levied against Deputy Commissioner Calvin Brutus acting on social media and established media houses. Calvin Brutus has since requested permission to proceed on annualized vacation leave with immediate effect to facilitate an investigation into the best interests of the Ghana Police Force. Permission was granted by the Commissioner of Police through the prescribed procedure. When questioned one day before on this matter, Mr. Brutus remained silent. At the same time, Police Commissioner Clifton Hicken had denied any deposits by Mr. Brutus into his credit union account and stated that there was no ongoing investigation. In other news, 3 suspects have been arrested in the murder of transgender sex worker Sean Simon Hooper. Bill Jarvis has more details.
Investigators have arrested 3 suspects in connection with the murder of Sean Simon Hooper, a transgender sex worker known as Coil Bottle. Crime Chief Wendell Blanham confirmed the arrests, including the alleged shooter known as Shaggy. Hooper was killed around 2 a.m. on Thursday near King Street in South Road, Georgetown, while accompanied by another sex worker, Unruly Lilwati. One of the suspects provided details of the shooting implicating Shaggy as the shooter. The suspect claimed Shaggy, who owned and drove the car, had a dispute with one of the sex workers, though it remains unclear if Hooper was the intended target. Before the shooting, the suspects reportedly consumed alcohol and then went in search of food. That is when they encountered Hooper and Unruly Lilwati, with Hooper approaching their car. Shaggy then allegedly fired multiple rounds at the sex workers, hitting Hooper, who was found dead 100 feet away. Investigators recovered 9 9mm spent shells at the scene and continue to probe the case. Reporting for Headline News Update, Dale Jarvis.
Thanks, Dale. Stick around when we return. Government addresses squatting concerns along Linden Suicide Highway, and GNBS seizes and destroys over 11,000 substandard electrical items.
Experience more than award-winning speed.
Way more.
Get the best that LTE has to offer on Digicel, officially the fastest mobile network in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speedtest, recognizes Digicel as the best mobile network in Guyana. With the best LTE experience and the fastest data speeds, experience it all with Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Good girl, forget things. What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized care, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Becca Phonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Grove Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
See clearly with the gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Welcome back. Minister within the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for information and public affairs, Kamami McCoy, has expressed significant concerns over the ongoing issue of squatting on privately owned or state-owned lands along the Linden-Suicide Highway. He emphasized that squatting is illegal and that squatters cannot expect government support for infrastructure and services in these areas. The government has proactively addressed this issue through various initiatives by the Ministry of Housing and Water, the Ghana Lands and Survey Commission, and other state agencies. These efforts include creating and developing official housing schemes, regularizing certain settlements, and relocating squatters from hazardous areas to safer locations with established facilities. The government is committed to resolving the squatting issue legally and sustainably, ensuring dignified living conditions for all citizens while calling for public support. Moving on, the Ghana National Bureau of Standards seized and destroyed over 11,000 pieces of substandard electrical fittings and equipment. In May and June, the items were confiscated from importers and dealers in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 9. The items seized, a clear violation of national substandards, lacked certification marks, country of origin, manufacturer's name, and proper labeling. Despite being given a generous 21 days to submit the necessary documentation, the importers and dealers did not comply, leading to the destruction of the items. Lorenzo Gill, acting head of the Product Compliance Department, noted that many unregistered dealers were selling non-compliant products. These dealers were urged to register with GNBS to import and sell electrical items legally. Since February 2020, GNBS has been monitoring various electrical fittings and equipment according to 31 mandatory national standards. Inspectors flag non-compliant products at importation and check sales outlets across the country to ensure compliance. Importers and dealers are encouraged to familiarize themselves with national standards and take corrective actions to avoid selling substandard products, reducing the risk of electrical fires. GNBS also monitors other products, including domestic electrical appliances, measuring devices, textiles, footwear, safety equipment, and more. Don't go away after the break. Surviving abuse in Kazakhstan. Government passes law criminalizing domestic violence. And Okinawa trial. U.S. soldier charged with sexual assault of minor.
Not a single bar of service.
Not with us. Digicel officially has the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Ookla, the company behind Speed Test, recognizes Digicel as the network with the best mobile coverage in Guyana. Be it in Aishalton or in Etteringban, we got you covered.
Digicel, the award-winning network for everyone, everywhere.
Smart Minds Educational Institute, offering preschool, nursery, and primary levels. Finally, a school that is every parent's dream. Located at 69 Crow Street, offering academic excellence, trained qualified teachers, small class sizes, personalized gear, and one-to-one attention for your little ones. At Smart Minds, register for full-time or evening classes, daily practice pass exam papers for proficiency at the grade 2, 4, and 6 assessment, and CXE exam preparedness. Or join our Beccaphonics reading and writing program. So if your child is for preschool, nursery, or primary level, come to Smart Mind, located at 69 Crow Street, or call 231-4885 or 600-9229 to enroll now.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Furnishing your home or office has never been easier. Here at Kissoon's, our inventory of locally made and imported furniture, offered at amazing prices, will leave you wanting more. From vinyl, floor rugs and carpets, bedroom, dining and living room sets, mattresses, pillows, office desk, chairs and filing cabinets, outdoor benches and tables. We have a piece of furniture for every room imaginable in your home or office. Check out our flagship store at Industrial Site Rijnveld or one of our branches in New Amsterdam, Port Morant, Riverton, and Camp Street. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 50 years.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. The government of Antigua and Barbuda has agreed not to parcel out Codrington, the capital of Barbuda, amidst disputes over communal land ownership. Codrington will remain a single block, allowing residents to continue living as tenants in common of the Crown. Those who wish to have land certificates will receive them. This decision partially satisfies Barbudans fighting for communal land rights. The government will proceed with land education, ensuring development is managed and orderly. Legal efforts by the Global Legal Action Network and the Barbuda Land Rights and Resources Committee continue to safeguard these rights. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden has defended his political record, swinging back at his critics who says he is not fit to serve for another term. He made this case during a highly anticipated press conference where he mistakenly referred to Donald Trump as his vice president. Al Jazeera's White House correspondent Kimberly Hackett reports.
He spoke for nearly an hour, batting away questions about whether he's capable of running for another 4 years.
I'm determined on running, but I think it's important that I allay fears by let them see me out there.
Questions about U.S. President Biden's mental fitness and calls for him to abandon his run for another term in the White House have been escalating for weeks. So when the 81-year-old president was asked, had he reduced his schedule following his poor debate performance last month against his rival Donald Trump, Biden scoffed.
And if you look at my schedule since I made that stupid mistake, I just got to pace myself a little more. Pace myself. In the next debate, I'm not going to be traveling into 15 time zones.
Biden insists his successful presidency is proof he's still strong physically and mentally. As he spoke at the end of 3 days of NATO meetings in Washington, he told reporters NATO leaders are urging him to keep running, fearful his rival, former President Donald Trump, will return to the White House.
What I hear them say is, you've got to win.
But NATO leaders were visibly uncomfortable and audibly gasped when Biden, at the end of the NATO summit, introduced Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky as Russian President Vladimir Putin.
And now I want to hand it over to the President of Ukraine, who has as much courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. He's going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky.
Biden quickly corrected himself. Others in attendance also defended Biden.
Versprecher passieren und wenn man
Slips of the tongue happen, and if you always monitor everyone, you will find enough of them.
Still, at least 14 Democratic lawmakers have called on President Biden to drop his bid for re-election. Some Democratic donors are also pausing donations until a presumptive nominee is declared. But Biden insists he's not leaving the presidential race. Despite his blunders, he insists he still has a chance to win. Kimberly Helkett, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Internationally, Kazakhstan has passed a new law criminalizing domestic violence. At least 1,200 killings related to abuse at home have been recorded in the past 6 years. The true number may be far higher, as many cases go unreported. A warning: some of the images in Al Jazeera's Osama bin Javid's report are disturbing.
A third of the women in this self-defense class are survivors of domestic abuse. Government figures show Kazakh police received more than 99,000 complaints related to family violence last year. Videos like these are common on social media. Authorities and right groups say the perpetrators are usually men and often known to the victim. The UN estimates only 1 in 4 aggressors is ever brought to justice, partly because of the law which did not classify domestic violence as a crime. After beatings like this, the only legal option available to women was a civil suit. But one case has changed that. In plain sight at a restaurant, the former economy minister beat his wife Saltanat Nukanova. She later died from her injuries. The politician was sentenced to 24 years in prison, and after a public outcry, his slain wife Saltanat has a new law named after her.
It was administrative offense, and that's why the need to adopt the law was so urgent, because the victims cannot be protected from perpetrators, from abusers.
This is the spot where Karina's husband used to hit her every time it began to heal. She was in an abusive marriage for more than a decade. She remembers traumatic days, weeks, months and years. Her husband was a diplomat, and she says one of the most painful episodes was when they lived in the United Arab Emirates.
He beat me, beat my sister. My sister shouted, "Karina, run and call for help. I don't have the finances to rent an apartment. The crisis center keeps me here. I eat here, and they provide me with psychological support and lawyers."
Human Rights Watch says the government must do more to ensure women and children are protected in line with international standards.
The new law has been in the works for 4 years, and although the number of abuse cases has risen up to 35%, there are still people who believe that this law would be detrimental to Kazakh society.
Nothing changes with the adoption of this law. Just as the victim had the right to contact law enforcement before, now it's the same, and another law is not required. This legislation criminalizes beatings and minor harm, which is open to manipulation.
That's not what these women believe, who had to leave homes and live in an obscure shelter to protect themselves. The children miss their home. But Karina says she'll only feel safe when her ex-husband is behind bars, while other women choose instead to prepare their own self-defense. Sama Mujawid, Al Jazeera, Astana.
Finally, a hearing is being held in Japan against an American soldier accused of sexually assaulting a minor in Okinawa. Locals are angered by Tokyo's apparent suppression of the crime. Al Jazeera's Eunice Kim explains.
Fury has gripped Okinawa and beyond. Another case involving sexual assault, this time on Christmas Eve. A Japanese minor taken to the home of a 25-year-old U.S. senior airman and allegedly assaulted.
I can never forgive such incidents. I learned that in the past 30 years, nearly 30 cases of sexual violence have occurred, with about half of them going unreported.
There's also shock over Tokyo's restrained stance, keeping the Okinawa government in the dark for months.
It is extremely regrettable that such an incident occurred. I am aware that the US side also takes this matter extremely seriously.
Words that fall on deaf ears for many Okinawans traumatized by a gang rape of a 12-year-old schoolgirl in 1995 by 3 U.S. soldiers. Faced with fierce calls to eject U.S. bases then, Washington pledged to close a key airfield located in a residential area, a plan deferred and now revised, to move its operations further north.
These incidents have shown that the presence of bases jeopardizes the human rights and dignity of Okinawans.
Japan hosts the largest overseas U.S. military contingent, with 70% of facilities on Okinawa. The bases on the tiny island are kitted out with the latest military hardware as their strategic importance grows, with their close proximity to Taiwan amid Washington's rising competition with Beijing. Still, analysts say Tokyo needs to be more transparent with local governments whose duty is to protect their residents' safety and security.
It is crucial for the national government and local governments to share information smoothly, allowing local governments to protest to the U.S. military, alert residents, and conduct patrols.
Tokyo acknowledged this month there were at least 3 other cases of suspected sexual assault committed by U.S. personnel in Okinawa since last year, adding that they did not lead to indictments. Eunice Kim, Al Jazeera.
This brings us to the end of the regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safe TV2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourself and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.